I tried to accelerate my YouTube growth, and I accidentally did something that made the algorithm trust my channel less. Not because the content was worse, but because the data was. I gained 6,000 subscribers, and almost none of them ever came back. That wasn't growth, that was noise. And for a while, I didn't understand why that bothered me, because the number looked impressive. 6,000 subscribers sounds like progress. If you show that number to someone who doesn't follow YouTube analytics, they would probably say, "That's great." But the more I looked at the channel, the more something felt off, because the response wasn't changing. The uploads weren't accelerating. The audience behavior looked almost identical to when the channel was much smaller. Let me show you what happened, because on paper, it looked like momentum. The number was climbing, the graph looked healthy, and if you were just glancing at the dashboard, you might think things were working. But something felt strange. Every time I uploaded a new video, the response didn't change. The views didn't jump, first hour traffic didn't improve. Sometimes it was smaller, and that didn't make sense. If the audience was growing, why wasn't the response? That question bothered me, because the numbers are supposed to tell a story, and the story wasn't lining up. The longer I looked at the data, the clearer it became that something was off. I believed something simple. More subscribers means more push. Higher number, more people, more reach. That's the logic everyone assumes when they start a channel. But YouTube doesn't actually work that way. And to understand that took me longer than it should have. Because YouTube doesn't learn from support, it learns from behavior. But the strange part wasn't that the subscribers didn't watch. The strange part is what that did to the algorithm. And this is where the story becomes important. Because this wasn't happening to YouTube Field Notes. This was happening to my other channel, the one where I draw, the one where most of my experiments have been happening, my main channel, Hand Drawn Project. That's the channel where this distortion started to show up. This is YouTube Field Notes. So how did I end up with 6,000 subscribers who weren't watching? Part of it was simple. I did what a lot of small creators do early on. I told people about the channel, friends, family, people who wanted to support me. And they did. They clicked subscribe, and I appreciated that. I still do. Because when you start a new channel, any encouragement feels meaningful. Someone saying, "I subscribed," feels like validation. Like maybe this thing could actually work. But support and interest are not the same thing. They care about me, but they are not my target viewer. They are not searching for drawing videos. They are not looking for coloring content. They are not following the progression of Hand Drawn Project. And YouTube doesn't learn from intentions, it learns from clicks. And more importantly, from the clicks that happen again and again. The system is watching patterns. Who clicks, who watches, who comes back. And the system learns very quickly. For a long time, I believed something simple. More subscribers means more growth. That's what most creators assume. The number goes up, so the channel must be improving. But the number itself doesn't drive distribution. Behavior does. And that's the difference that changes everything. Eventually, I tried something else. I wondered if I could accelerate growth, if I could increase the numbers faster. Maybe the system would have more people to work with. Maybe the algorithm just needed a larger audience to test against. So I ran ads, YouTube ads, Google ads, official platform ads. Not bots, not fake traffic, just normal YouTube Google promotion. Not expensive, fairly cheap. Subscribers jumped quickly. The graph spiked. For a moment, it looked like momentum. And honestly, that spike felt exciting. Because all of a sudden, growth looks great. But when the next video is uploaded on Hand Drawn Project, the behavior didn't change. The views didn't jump. The early traffic didn't expand. The engagement didn't shift. It was like the number and the reality were living in two different places. YouTube doesn't care how many people said yes once. It cares how many people say yes again. When someone subscribes but never clicks your videos, that's data. And when subscribers stop watching completely, that becomes a strong signal. Inflated numbers create distorted data because now the system is testing your videos against people who aren't actually interested. And the algorithm is always asking a simple question: do people want this? If subscribers don't click, YouTube reads low interest, and that can slow down distribution. Not because the platform is punishing you, but because the system is trying to understand the audience. And on Hand Drawn Project, that distortion started to become visible. Videos that should have had momentum were starting slower than expected. The signals were muddy. The feedback loop was weaker. And the algorithm doesn't panic, it just becomes more cautious. Inflated numbers create distorted data because the system starts testing your videos against people who aren't actually interested. And when those viewers don't click, YouTube reads that as low interest. This is where the pattern started to become clear. My subscriber count was rising, but my views were not. CTR wasn't improving, retention wasn't improving, and that mismatch was the clue. Because numbers only matter when they move together. Subscribers, views, clicks, returning viewers. When those signals start moving in different directions, something important is happening. Subscribers are not the goal. They're needed, but not the goal. Active viewers are the goal. Subscriber counts look important, but they're not the real metric. Attention is, because the system learns from behavior, not from what someone clicked once. Looking back, this mistake was actually useful because it forced me to understand something important. Subscriber count is a lagging indicator. Behavior is the leading one. Clicks, retention, return viewers, those are the signals that compound. If I could start again from zero, I wouldn't chase the number. I wouldn't text friends to subscribe. I wouldn't try to inflate early growth. I would focus on earning attention, one viewer at a time. Because one viewer who returns again and again teaches the algorithm far more than 1,000 who disappear. Eventually, the lesson became simple. One engaged viewer is more valuable than 10 passive subscribers, because attention is the currency that drives growth, not headcount. Because attention is earned, every upload, every title, every opening line, you don't borrow it, you don't inflate it, you earn it. This channel is field notes from someone in the middle bottom of the climb, not at the summit, not selling a course, just documenting what happened and what didn't. Next time, I want to look at something every creator struggles with when a video flops. Do you fix it or do you leave it alone? And how do you tell the difference between optimization and impatience? This is YouTube Field Notes. Let's figure it out.